It's good practice. We have a lot of guys. That's the first thing from a coaching standpoint. You just try to figure out how many ways you can get guys on the floor. Love our spirit overall. Love what we worked on. So it was good.
What did you want to get out of this first one?
Really defensive rules, and offensive spacing. And I thought we accomplished that for the most part. Listen, like I said earlier, we're a team that really didn't have the superstar name, but we're a really good team. And the stuff you got to saw at the end of the practice is we got to work on end of the game stuff because we're going to be able to be in every game. We're going to have to figure out the best way to close the games, and so that's what we're going to work on as well.
Did anyone in particular stand out?
No, they all stood out. I thought everyone had a pretty good practice. I don't think anyone had a bad one. I thought the conditioning was good, not great. But we're running, we're really pushing the brake. So, you can prepare for that in the summer, and then you get out on the floor, and it's a whole different speed. And I thought our guys learned that today.
You mentioned talking to Sindarius about holding them and how it Are there some rule changes you think are going to take a while to get used to?
The holding, I think they're going to call it. That's going to be a big change in our league because there's a lot of holding and grabbing. If they call it, I like that. I think it cleans up the game a little bit. And then I think the offensive rebounds, the shot clock goes to 14. That's a huge thing, It's going to quicken the pace a little bit. Not as much. You'd be surprised. Usually teams shoot before that 14-second clock. But I think those are good rule changes.
Last week when we spoke, you mentioned potentially closing games with smaller lineups, like three-guard lineups or Gallo and Tobias, the two bigs. We kind of saw that lineup there. And how do you think they did?
Well, they did okay. They got shots. That's just going to take time. And, there's a lot of things you can do, like Boban, like at the end of a game when you need to inbound the ball. If you have him on the floor, you're probably going to be able to inbound the ball because just throw it to him. And he's a high free throw shooter. So I think that helps us as well. There's a lot of lineups we can go to, and the confusing part for us is to figure out which one is the right one that night,
You mentioned conditioning. You opened this training camp with running last year, too. How happy were you with the way these guys came back?
Oh, good. We did our conditioning tests like 5 days ago because from a coaching point last year, the conditioning test was great, but then we didn't practice. We had nothing left. So we figured get it out of the way. They had to agree to that because that's something the players can say no to until camp. They wanted to do it, so that helped me today, and you can see that it benefited us today.
You remember that first game here in Hawaii last year had quite the crowd. A lot of them weren't able to get into the second half. What do you remember about the Hawaii fans?
Well, the Hawaii fans are great. I just wish we could have seen them all. We'll do better this year. I can guarantee you that. I love the spirit. I love how engaged they were. Even the open practice that we had a couple days before the opening night, I thought was terrific. I thought we get a lot of support here, and it's good to be back here.
There's never really an off-season in the NBA. How does it feel to kind of get away from the mainland and be kind of out here for the training camp just with your team?
It's great. I just think we couldn't pick a better place. First of all, we're in Hawaii. Not a lot of complaints there. Secondly, we're away. We're in a beautiful place, and we're together. Like it forces you to be together and kind of grow as a group. A lot of teams have the biggest advantage they have over us is that they've been together. So we have to force it and get our team growing together. Coming to Hawaii helps that.
How do you think Shea and Jerome performed in their first practice today?
They were really good. They made some mistakes, but so did some veterans. I love both of them. I love their spirit. I love their IQs. And, you watch now, I see Lou is doing a great job of taking them both under his wings. Not a bad guy to listen to. He knows how to score pretty much. So, they're going to be really good players.
To make, and obviously with the shorter preseason, what kind of a challenge is that for you as an evaluator?
Honestly, I'm more focused on the lineup more than like who's going to make the team.
15,
and that is something that I'm going to obviously be involved in, but I'm going to let Lawrence and his staff really watch with me. There's a lot of things that go into play at that. I can tell you this, there's not an NBA player on our team right now. So we got 20 guys. We got to cut it down at some point, unfortunately. But I can tell you this is the first camp I've been to maybe ever where you can honestly say every single guy in this camp should be on an NBA team, and that's going to make it very difficult.
At what point in camp do you think that starts to clarify itself?
I don't know. I think it'll clear up. I think they'll tell you. You know, I've always said that. Same thing with the lineups. Like, you know, coaches get the credit and the heat, I guess, for picking a lineup. Most of the times the players do the picking by the way they play and they perform, and that's what will happen.
You mentioned just by the nature of being out here, the guys are going to be around each other a lot more. That could help. Are there things you set up while you're kind of have them sequestered to get to know each other?
Yeah, you know, I'm a recluse for the most part off the, you know, after practice, and so one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of them out to dinner every other night instead of just sit in my room and watch film. That'll be tough, but the food will be good, so I'm happy there. We're going to do a team building exercise with the military again. We did that last year, so that'll be nice as well.
With all these dinners planned, what do you eat here in Hawaii?
Fish. I figured that's a smart thing to do, and so that's what I'm going to do. A lot of fish.
You got a luau yet, Coach?
We went last year.
Okay.
Yeah, the luau was fantastic. So we're not going to do it this year, but we did it last year, and it was really cool. Thanks, guys.
Contrast, you talked about how short this preseason.
Yeah.
How grueling were they when you were players? Come along.
Well, you know, they were grueling, but I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
You know, I think my first year was a month. Training camp, I know it was 2 weeks of two-a-days.
Where was this at?
Where's Florida State at?
Tallahassee.
Tallahassee. My first one's in Tallahassee. You go 2 weeks. You have roommates. Back then, I think Randy Whitman or Scott Hastings was my roommate. But you didn't know any better. You just did it, and you got through it. And then you had another month of camp before, you know, 8 preseason games a month. You just had a lot of time to prepare. The training camps were grueling. I mean, they were brutal. But the preseason, you know, 8 games, that wasn't all bad.
So it's not like it's an obvious advantage to go to the shorter thing for you, because you kind of like the preseason time to get to know your guys.
Yeah, I do. I don't like the games.
Yeah.
I don't like 8 games. I think that was way too many. I think camp's too short. I think preseason we got just right. Yeah.
And then last thing, could you just outline all your assistants, what their roles are going to be? I know Rex is with defense. But
Yeah. I mean, they're all different because I don't, like I told all of them, you're what you are, but you're everything. So they all coach both sides. But Rex is really mainly on defense with John Welsh as well. Armand, Sam, and Brendan are on offense. Casey Hill is going, we call him our utility guy. He's going back and forth offense and defense.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks. Thanks, guys. Thank you.